I wanted to jump on here today for something that I think is probably the most important thing I have shared out of the entire time I've had this channel. Hey, this is Jim from His Nature Farm, and it's got to do with solar and a backup generator. You need to listen, stay tuned for this one. Okay, so what's going on here? What's so important? Well, you know these storms that just came through. We're here in Middle Tennessee, had a lot of rain, had a lot of clouds. So, of course, we needed to turn on our generator back here. We need to get it going. And I wanted to make sure that it was going to be ready for the winter. As you know, we're a homestead that's completely off grid. We live in a house with my family, and this is it. If this doesn't work, we have no power. And we do have a wood stove, but in the coming winter, we may need heat, regular heat. So this is going to be our fail-safe, this generator. So I wanted to try it, and that's exactly what I did. And let me tell you what happened. You're not going to believe this. I don't even believe it. So several months back, I had another generator, started it up, did the same thing, and I used that generator, and it blew several control boards on my devices. And what I mean by that is it blew the control boards on my mini split, one mini split. It blew my new hot water heater control board, blank. You don't see anything, and it's not that it explodes. It just shuts off, has no power. It damaged my washing machine, destroyed that. So I immediately thought, hey, it was an older generator, and that was the problem. It seemed to be doing some weird stuff when I started it and used it. And remember, it's wired into the backup. Matter of fact, let me show you. Okay, if you remember, we got this 18K, this EG4 18K, which, by the way, has worked flawlessly. Has worked absolutely flawlessly. So anyway, if you remember, this is quite some months ago, we hooked up this generator, and this is our, I'm not getting into this inverter, excuse me. And we hooked in our generator load right here. This is for the backup generator. This comes out from the 50 amp line that you plug in, and it's got your two main lines, and it's got your neutral and you got your ground. Okay, so we hooked this thing up, and we went out here and we hooked up our other generator, and that's kind of how I have it. I have it running out over here into a 50 amp plug or 30 amp. It depends what you want when you want to use it for, but it maxes at 50 amps and it comes out of your generator. Well, I blew all this stuff up in the building, and I thought it was the generator. So I go out and I bought this new Westinghouse 8500, because it's on propane, 8500 watt running watts generator, brand new. So what do? I go out and start it up, right? Start it up, and I noticed after a couple of minutes, the lights start flickering. So they start flickering, and some of my LEDs, and then I noticed some of my lights completely shut off. Some are working, some aren't. I'm like, what is going on? Right? Check my settings, go over the whole thing, making sure what's going on. Like making sure my settings are right. And there were some settings that were not set properly, but nothing that caused the stuff to go out. So, needless to say, I discover that my whole system, all of a sudden, all the AC voltage out of the inverter goes out. So obviously AC is what feeds that building over there. All of it goes out. And the inverter completely stops putting out AC voltage. The only voltage that's coming out is out of the generator. So then I discover that not only did that happen, but all of my dimmer light switches blew. Again, we blew the hot water heater control panel. Again, we blew 5 of my mini split heads. Again, this is even worse than the other time. And just a shout out to Rheem and to Della. I use those Della mini splits there on the wall, as you can see back there. They were fantastic. I called them up, got replacement parts sent for free. Rheem did that, and Della did that. And I just want to say, people, they question, you're supposed to go to Mitsubishi and spend all this money, and Della has been fantastic. They have absolutely been fantastic. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to put links to them in the comments below, both to Rheem because I have that hot water heater. So they replaced them. But I just want to tell you what the reason was. Okay, so you're probably wondering, well, what's going on, Jim? I didn't know. Went through this over and over. And I'm going to tell you what it is right now. Okay, so you're probably way smarter than I am. I'm sure. And electrical is not my best, particularly when it comes to something called, as you probably have heard, bonded or unbonded. Okay? Unbonding or bonded. Right now, some of you are laughing, going, yep, that's what I figured. Well, what is that? What is bonding and what is not bonding? Really simple. When you hook up a system here, okay, we'll go in here to an unhooked panel that I don't have hooked up yet. Okay, let me see if I can get this thing even open for you to look at. Okay, so you have a neutral coming out into your, and this is not hooked up, it's not hot. This is a neutral line coming into your neutral bar. Then you have a ground bar, which is right here, okay? This is a ground bar right here. This is ground. It's an earth ground, but it isn't just that, okay? This is a ground that runs, and bonded means you taking the neutral and you're connecting the neutral to the ground right here. In other words, it's connected. It's called bonded, and they have a thing called a bonding screw. Now, this doesn't really have it. Well, it may right here. And you basically put the screw in to this neutral bar, and it grounds it to this box. That is called bonding, okay? Now, in an electrical system, you only are to have one bonded part of your electrical system. So we obviously have, and let's show you around here, we obviously have a lot going on. We have power going out to the to our secondary home. We have this power going out into that home there, and we have then power all in here going to the inverter. We have inverter power. We have this connection that's going to be made up here shortly, splitting the power between the two homes. All this right here. In this entire system, you only want one of the boxes to have a bond. No other box, like this box, should not be bonded because the bonding is in that panel in that building. Nowhere else. On the secondary home, no bonding, only one spot. What does that mean? That means when you hook this up to this generator, this cannot be bonded as well. And guess what? It comes from the factory, and you'll see the note right here. Neutral bonding to frame. That right there causes all the problems. So let me show you what happens. Right here in the alternator, coming out of the back, you'll see this right here. This wire is bonding the alternator to the frame of the machine, of the engine and everything. So because it's bonded, now they do that for safety, okay? When you're using this as a standalone machine and you have regular plugs going into this machine, it's got stuff to do with getting shocked, okay? And I'm not sure the science behind it and the electrical flow, but I know that it's for your safety. And when you actually change it and you remove it, you change the bonding, you take this off, put it on here, you essentially remove the bonding, okay? Then it will be only grounded in one location in this entire system. Because remember, you're running a wire, from here to here, and it's a 4-wire. You're running a ground and a neutral. So because of that, you're now grounded in 2 spots or bonded in 2 spots, and you can't have that. It'll cause a short circuit. And that's what was happening the entire time. The unit was short-circuited. I looked at the other generator, and the same thing. It is bonded to the frame, and this is the problem. So it's the simple fix is removing this, putting it on there, and he's supposed to mark on the generator that is now unbonded. What that means is if you ever use it for something like hooking it up to a regular extension cord and stuff like that, and you're using it, you really need to, it needs to be bonded. So you need to kind of marker that on the side. So it's as simple as removing this right here, and that's what we're going to do, putting it on here, getting it out of the way, and it will be unbonded. Why is this so important? Because not for your health necessarily, for your safety, because that would be the priority, but I have spent and could have spent thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. If you have a double bonding system in your system, in other words, you use a generator that is bonded, and you obviously, if it's done right, your electrical system is going to have one spot in your electrical grid system that you set up, even if you're for off-grid, it's going to be bonded. So then when you hook your generator up, now you have a double bonded system causing a short. And that short is what burned out all my electronics, not all of them, but many of the very valuable and expensive parts and pieces to running this household, as well as the new household, which is going to have a new refrigerator. Oh, and I forgot to share, the last time this happened, it burned out my refrigerator. $1,500 to fix the control panel on the refrigerator. So just to let you know the damage and the amount of savings that this could be. Now, you would think this would be very common and people would explain this, and I don't know, maybe I'm just a naive one, but no one is saying this. Do not use a bonded generator when you have a bond already in your system for an off-grid system on your backup generator. I don't know how I could say this enough, but that is the warning. I'm going to unbond it. And I'm going to try it again just to make sure that that was it. But I learned this from Signature Solar about the EG4. That's how we discovered this after going through this process. And yes, the inverter was had a safety in it, and it reset, and it's working totally fine right now. So we're back up and running. But I wanted to share this with you because this is very important to my heart, that you don't lose a bunch of money. And I hopefully you will learn from my mistakes, which sometimes seem to be mounting more and more and more. So anyway, this is a learning opportunity, and I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any comments or you want to add something to this that I don't know, which is quite a lot evidently, then please just put that in the comments. And this is Jim from His Nature Farm. Please like and subscribe. We do appreciate you greatly. Have a blessed day.